It is Monday, November 27th. It is 6 p.m. here at City Hall on the second floor of City Council chambers. Media's been notified. Agenda's been posted. Clerk, please take the roll call.
David Holt.
Here.
Stephen Jopek.
Here.
Eileen Daniel.
Here.
Carrie Michalowski. Gerald Anderson.
Here.
Thomas Barnett.
Here.
Tom Kelly. Leanne Felton.
Here.
Chris Hannes.
Here. We do have quorum. Please stand for the pledge.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to number 4, which would be public comment. I have Virginia Roberts from the library.
Good evening, everyone. I am just here to invite you to a program that is going on. It has been put on by the Rhinelander District Library Foundation. They are presenting Bob Vig to talk about his dad, Cedric Vig. And Ced Vig's legacy at the library, among other things, is the Ced Vig Holiday Books Fund, which kicks off on December 1st. But his legacy at the library is much richer than that, and his son will be there to speak about it on December 1st, which is Friday, at 1 o'clock. And you're all welcome to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there anyone else for public comment? Any other council members have any public comment? Okay, not seeing. Moving on to number 5, mayor's comments. I have none at this time. Moving on to number 6, administration report, referred to our city administrator.
Nothing outside of what was submitted.
Any questions or discussion about his report? Okay, not seeing. Moving on to number 7, public hearings, none apply. Moving on to number 8A, presentations on utility and street improvements. I refer to Mark Barden.
I will keep this short and sweet tonight. The 3 projects, Phillips Street, Timber, and Oneida, are all done for this season. With the exception of Timber Drive, we have some street signs to put in that'll probably be put in this week or next. A couple other punch list items that'll be wrapped up this fall, and then we'll tuck it away for the winter and start fresh in the spring. Any questions?
There's a lot of concrete pipe on the corner of Pleasant and Oneida. Do we know what's going to be done with that?
That should be hauled out, and they'll store that for the winter.
So my understanding, the contractor has to store it there for safety, and then it's for Courtney Street next year. So I gave him permission to store it on my property
For the year?
until next spring when they install it.
Okie dokie.
My understanding, if you guys want to move it, go right ahead, but.
No,
you know.
no, that's fine, Mr. Mayor. If they work that out with you on a private side note, and if you're comfortable with it, then yeah, you can stay there.
Yeah, don't matter to me, so.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson?
What remains to be done besides the surface coating of asphalt?
On Oneida, we need to put in the new signal lighting at the intersection of Lincoln and Oneida, or Lincoln and Courtney. We have Courtney to do from Lincoln to Pelham. We have all the pavement marking to do, and we have a couple lights, signal lights that we have to exchange at the intersection of Anderson and Pelham. So that needs to be done on Oneida. On Timber, we need to do the surface course of asphalt with pavement marking. Timber Drive will get bike lanes striped. That'll be done next year, and there'll be some additional restoration to do on both of those projects. Phillips Street is just the surface course of asphalt.
Cool, thank you. Moving on to number 9, proclamations, none apply for this meeting. Moving on to number 10A, which would be ordinances, first and or second reading. Introduction of a first reading of ordinance 2023-9. Refer to our city administrator first.
Sure. This is ordinance to amend the zoning map. It's going to be based on the 903 Boyce Drive that comes down lower in the packet there, but had to put it up through ordinance. So This is what you need to do to change the zoning map.
I don't know if, Brian, if there's anything you want to speak to on this? Nope. Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, I knew what this was about from attending plan commission meetings, but I thought the way it was presented here was rather unclear. The ordinance refers to parcel numbers, but there's nothing on the certified survey that indicates parcel numbers, which is why I asked Veronica to provide this for everybody today so that we could see what the parcels look like that we're talking about, and then try to relate that to the survey. I would like to move adoption of this ordinance, 2023-9, amending the official zoning map of the city of Rhinelander with the addition or attachment to it of this or something similar, and what's numbered page 19 in the packet, which is the only part of the survey information that actually shows what we're talking about.
And that's just for the first reading, correct?
Okay.
Hold second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Oh, crap. Yeah. So you moved for adoption, okay. So that would, just to make sure, Steve, that would pretty much waive the second reading with adoption of it, or no?
Yeah, I mean, this has been around for a while. I don't know that, you're not really asking for that to be the first reading, are you, Gerald?
Well, it's listed as first reading, I thought, but I don't think it matters on this one.
No, so what you'd need is, you'd need a motion to waive the first reading and then adopt it. You can make that all as part of one motion.
Just add to what I said before and waive the second reading.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Holt.
I accept.
Okay, so Mr. Holt is the one who's second. So any discussion on the motion now on the table? On the floor, sorry. Mr. Jopek?
So just to clarify, we are amending the ordinance, or the resolution, sorry. Ordinance, yep. Okay, it's been a long day, sorry. The ordinance just to incorporate the maps that display the...
Yeah, just so everybody understands, it wasn't at the planning commission. What's happening here is a parcel of land is being put into a single certified survey map. Part of that parcel was in a different zoning district, and you couldn't say the CSM was going to be rezoned because part of the zoning was correct. So it's only the one part that wasn't correct that we're adding to the city map. And under the state law, anytime you rezone, you have to do it by ordinance. You can't do it by just approving the CSM. That's why you've got a CSM approval and an ordinance approval, but it's trying to do the exact same thing.
It's regarding a triangle of land going from, well, per this one, from the purple to the orange, so. So not seeing any other discussion, clerk, please take the roll call.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Leanne Felton,
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski, Tom Kelly, Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
David Holt,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 10B, introduction and/or first reading of ordinance 2023-10. Refer to our city administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So what this is allowing for a fee to be charged for open records requests. I've never worked in a community that didn't allow a fee to be charged for pretty big open records requests. This is pretty standard stuff, and I was kind of surprised we didn't have it here. I defer to Austin or Steve Sorensen on this. They've been working on it, so I'll go either one would like to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm willing to answer any questions anyone might have. Pretty much what he's exactly said. This allows us to charge for open records that do come to the city clerk's office?
Open records requests can sometimes get kind of unwieldy, and there can be a lot of work that goes on in them. So this is not, like I said, this is standard stuff.
So Steve, is this pretty common, like the cost and the structure versus other communities?
Yeah, I would tell you that the state statute, first of all, allows you to do this, okay? Start with that as the given. The second aspect of it is state statute doesn't set the amount that you can charge, but what it does say is that amount must be reasonably related to the work that's necessary to obtain the records. And so what Austin and I've done, and we've looked at other cities that have done the same thing, is try to estimate on a time-wise and a cost-wise what would be a reasonable price and would withstand anybody challenging that price. But I will tell you that this city has spent an awful lot of money that they could have recouped if this had been in place. And with some things coming up in the next couple of years, this whole concept of doing your research by sending letters to cities with open records requests rather than doing your own research is becoming more and more impressive for college professors and types. And that's where it gets really expensive. So this just, you'll find that your open records requests will go down. The newspapers and the people that are in the business of getting information, they're not going to be, because they're paying it now anyway. So that's a reality.
Barnett, I make a motion to waive the second reading and adopt ordinance 2023-10, an ordinance amending 2.07.01 through 2.07.07 of the City of Rhinelander Code of Ordinance regulating open records.
Hold second.
Okay, any, Mr. Anderson?
I have no problem with the ordinance as it's written, other than it's sort of hard to tell if a person is coming in with a request. They don't have any idea what they're getting into. I mean, if it relates to the number of copies, I guess they can look at the fee schedule. We don't have a fee schedule for the first time or that kind of thing.
So here's how it works, Gerald. Somebody comes in and they said, I would like to have all of the emails relating to the council decision to paint the city hall green. And I'm making this up. And the reality is then they have to go search, and Tara would have to search through all of the emails that everybody's done. So we do an estimate then. We try to figure out how long will this take, because we've done this stuff before, depending on what the request is. Then we say to them, we approximate this to cost $500, and we're asking you to deposit $500 before we do the work. Now, if it costs $650 before we're done, we'll alert them when we've gone over the 500. You're going to have to give us 150 more, or we're going to stop. So you do this cost estimate, and it's not, and the people that are doing this that are legitimate are very much used to that. You do the estimate, you bring in the amount of money, that goes on deposit. If it's less, you get the money back. If it's more, you pay more. That's how it works. And it's been doing all over the state. This has been on for years and years and years. You got to imagine Milwaukee does it daily.
Mr. Anderson?
Just one other question is, over the last couple of years, we've been apparently doing a lot of work on getting old records on microfiche or on electronic, some sort of form that is more accessible. Are we getting to the point where this process will be less cumbersome than it used to be?
If they only are asking for microfiche records, it won't be that difficult. The problem is they ask for text messages, they ask for emails, they ask for course. In other words, you've got to go look to determine they aren't there. That takes more time than actually finding this stuff and making copies of it in some cases. And so it's really hard to say, is it going to get better? The thing that'll make it better is do not communicate. except on the phone. No, I mean, I've told you this 100 times. Don't be sending text messages and emails because that's the things that really get to be expensive. Microfiche, that's not hard, especially if it's searchable, and it is searchable. So, but when you start going through everybody's email and everybody's text message, that's when it gets to take a lot of time and money.
Any other discussion? Not seeing, clerk, please take the roll call.
Karen Mikulowski, David Holt,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Leanne Felton, Tom Kelly.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to 11, unfinished business, none applies from this meeting. Moving on to 12A, discuss and/or action approving common council meeting minutes from November 13th.
Daniel, make a motion to approve the common council meeting minutes from November 13th, 2023 as presented.
Hold second.
Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose? Abstain, meeting minutes are approved. Moving on to 12B, discuss and/or action approving a planning commission meeting minutes from September 5th, October 24th.
Daniel, make a motion to approve the plan commission meeting minutes from September 5th, 2023 and October 24th, 2023 as presented.
Hold second.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, I don't know if you had a question or...
Yeah, I believe that technically our minutes we approve, the others we accept. Or it should be a different term because they're their minutes, not ours.
He's correct.
Okay, are you two willing to change your motion to that?
Daniel, rescind original motion. Do you want to rescind your second?
I will rescind my second.
Daniel, make a motion to accept the plan commission meeting minutes from September 5th, 2023 and October 24th, 2023.
Hold second.
Okay, any discussion on the new motion? Not seeing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose? Abstain, meeting minutes are approved. Moving on to 12C, discuss and/or action approving ZBA meeting minutes from October 13th, 2021, which is correct.
Wow. Daniel, make a motion to accept the ZBA meeting minutes from October 13th, 2021.
Hold second.
Any discussion? Mr. Anderson?
Is this the most recent time they've met?
Yes.
Yeah, ZBA is Zoning Board of Appeals, for people who are not familiar.
Yeah, they only meet on an as-needed basis.
Right.
So pretty much this last meeting was the meeting where they approved their own minutes, so that's why it took so long. Any other discussion? Not seeing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Abstain or opposed? Not seeing, a motion passes. Moving on to 12D, discuss and/or action approving mayor appointment to Ethics Board Ashley McLaughlin from an alternate to a full-time member.
Barnett, I make a motion to approve the mayoral appointment of Ashley McLaughlin to the Ethics Board from alternative member to full member, term ending 4/26.
Daniel, second.
So to give some clarification, we had one board member step down due to personal reasons, so we're just moving her up, and then we'll be looking for another alternate member. So any discussion on the motion? Not seeing, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose? Abstain? Motion passes. Moving on to 12E, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-146. I will refer to our city administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So what this is based off of the presentation from the last meeting from Ellers. As they said, we need to seek a simplified rate case for our water rates. Obviously, in Wisconsin, Public Service Commission sets those for you. We do not set them ourselves. So what I'm asking here is to be allowed to apply to the Public Service Commission for a simplified rate case.
Barnett, I make a motion to accept resolution 2023-146, authorizing application to Wisconsin Public Service Commission for water rate utility increase.
Jopek, second.
Any discussion, Mr. Barnett?
So the next few resolutions are going to be dealing with what Ellers had suggested to us, and it's, I mean, not going to lie, it sucks. But it sucks because there was poor oversight in the past. This stuff should have been forecasted years out, and it kind of just fell in our lap. And I think that is a real shame that we have to go about this now. I think we need to hold management to a standard that requires better forecasting moving forward. And I know Patrick understands this. Him and I have had several discussions on this matter. And from the conversations we've had, I know that he feels the same way I do about this. I've also asked him to make sure that links to programs to assist people that are in hardship be very prevalent on the city website so that people can easily find the help they need if they need assistance.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but Mariah King has done that today.
Oh, great.
They are prevalent on there now.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Mr. Jopek?
I think I'm just gonna second on, or like just kind of piggyback off of Mr. Barnett on that. That this is not something that we aren't necessarily taking lightly. We're not doing it out of our hip pocket or anything. It's something that has to be done. I'm an advocate for good governance, and sometimes good governance comes with tough pills to swallow. And so it's not something that these kind of things are exciting to vote on or anything like that, but it is necessary for our community to maintain itself and for us to be able to sustain the growth that we currently have. And it will have side effects, as Mr. Barnett has mentioned. And so I agree with him that we should make sure that we are promoting any sort of programs and we're just prepared to ride it out.
Okay, not seeking any other discussion. Austin, please take the roll call.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Karen Mikulowski, Tom Kelly, Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
David Holt,
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12F, discuss and/or action, proposed resolution 2023-147.
So
Patrick.
again, this is based off of what Ellers had said to us as far as covering our bonded debt, our O&M operations and maintenance, and future projects. Wastewater is also in need of and I might as well just say it, stormwater is too. There's rate sheets in here for all of this. Like Mr. Burnett was saying, this isn't fun, and I said it this isn't pleasant, but this is unfortunately what you need to do. Generally, industry standard has always been 2 to 4% every year to raise your rates to keep up with inflation or to keep up with costs rising. It doesn't, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, but it doesn't look like that's happened very often, and it's not something you revel in, but it is something that's necessary to keep up our system. These are really important, and this is how we keep up with them. So in this one, you'll see Exhibit A, you'll see a proposed City of Rhinelander wastewater rate adjustments. What staff is proposing is, we took all the information, Wendy Bixby and I took all the information from what Ellers gave us and plugged it right in verbatim to what they recommended. And what we're recommending to you tonight is to pass this for 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029. Again, these are the exact numbers that Ellers gave us. So looking to do it one fell swoop for both this and stormwater.
Jopek motion to approve resolution number 2023-147, approving the proposed adjustments of the utility rate schedule as it pertains to city wastewater service for the city of Rhinelander.
Hold second.
Any discussion on the motion?
These would be effective January 1st.
How do you plan on notifying through the last water billing?
We can do it like that. We'll any way we can make sure people know about it.
True. Mr. Anderson?
How many years does this really include? I mean, the chart shows about 10 years, right? Is that what we're talking about?
What you're talking about, Exhibit A, or the chart that's with it?
The chart that's with it. Oh, okay, just go with Exhibit A. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're looking at Exhibit
I
A.
went down
So
too far.
yeah, we're looking to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years out. So
I don't know if Mr. Jopek, if you still had.
I'm good.
Okay. Not seeing any other discussion. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Leanne Felton,
Aye.
Tom Kelly, Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski, Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
David Holt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12G, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-148. Refer to our city administrator.
Similar to the last resolution, this resolution has a rate schedule with the Exhibit A there. Wendy Bixby and I put these together, so basically the same exact thing, looking to do this for the next year, 6 years going out, based exactly on what Ellers recommended.
Barnett, I make a motion to approve resolution 2023-148, approving proposed adjustment to the utility rate schedule as it pertains to city stormwater service for the city of Rhinelander.
Hold second.
Any discussion on the motion?
These also would be effective January 1st.
Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Eileen Daniel, David Holt,
Aye.
Tom Kelly, Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Leanne Felton,
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12H, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-149. Refer to our city administrator.
Thank you. So tonight, generally, I'd have Tara here. Tara's out sick today, so I'm hoping she's going to get better, and we're going to see her back tomorrow. But basically, this is for new city servers, part of the consolidation project that we've been working on for a while now, it sounds like. So this will come out of the capital asset borrowing, the 2023 borrowing.
Barnett, I make a motion to approve resolution 2023-149, approving the proposal from Technology Management for hardware and labor as it relates to new city main servers for a cost not to exceed $77,969.62.
Hold second.
Any discussion? Mr. Barnett?
Patrick, can you let us know how many gigabytes are in the RAM for the hard drive of the terabytes?
That is exactly what I've been talking to Tara about. Is all the acronyms just whoosh right over my head. My bald spot gets bigger every time I talk to her. So
What's our funding source for this?
it's the 2023 capital borrowing.
Any other discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
David Holt,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski, Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Tom Kelly, Leanne Felton.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12I, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-150. Refer to our city administrator.
We have Phil and Kurt Johnson. Phil from MSA. We've been working on a test well 7 and 8 were shut down in 2019. Been looking for a suitable replacement well for them. Phil, go ahead. You know more than I do.
Okay. This bid was for 2 test wells. We're going to do one near where wells 4 and 5 are, and one that's yet to be determined. I don't know if the city's contacted all the people on that one yet.
Not yet.
The 178, 120 is if we're lucky at well 4 and 5 with well 9. We wouldn't have to do another test well. This could possibly just be one test well. Any questions?
Phil, can you let everybody know where wells 4 and 5 are at? They may not know. So.
Wells 4 and 5, I'm an old Rhinelander person, bottom of the Hogsback Hill, out on Oneida Street. So does that help you guys? Across from the old Musson plant.
Yeah, close to Bessie's Meat Market.
Yep.
That's, yeah. Mr. Anderson?
Is a test well of any use for the main well that's intended to drill? I
No.
mean, it doesn't do any good.
Doesn't do anything. It's only a 6-inch well.
And it's just to find out if there's water down there and how much?
To find out if there's water, find out what the geology looks like, find out where bedrock is. There's a lot of things that are determined off of that test well.
And if that all comes out favorable, then you'd be wanting to drill one right next to it.
Correct. It'd be as close as we could to that well, because you don't want to move very far from it. Because geology does change, a drop of a hat.
How deep is this?
we're going up in elevation. I think the existing wells are in the 65-foot range. Is that right, Kurt? 60 to 70. We're going up 20 feet, so we'll be 80 feet approximately. Yeah, we're trying to get more casing. The state of Wisconsin requires a minimum amount of casing to be in the ground to protect the water. And right now, wells 4 and 5 don't have that minimum amount of casing.
Mr. Jopek?
This might not appear relevant. For me, it does. Just because we voted on all of these utility increases, I guess one thing I want to point out is that this is the kind of stuff, the infrastructure stuff that's down the way for us as far as finding wells, figuring out drinking water, things like that. And so I guess I just want to add that context to this pursuit that things that we just voted on in the resolutions, and I just want to stress that like they're not fun to vote on. These are the kind of things that we're going to have to address down the road. And so I just wanted to point that out and add that context that that's kind of where that utility rate stuff kind of comes in, is that infrastructure with regard to well replacement that is going to be needed for drinking water.
Mr. Barnett?
When you do the testing, are you also testing for the levels of PFAS?
There'll be all kinds of water tests done, yes.
There'll be water testing done?
Yep.
I'll be interested to see what you find 80 feet down. I mean, we have sidewalks on top of sidewalks in this town and corduroy roads. It'll be interesting.
Mr. Anderson?
Is there a disadvantage to having all our wells in one place, kind of? I mean, rather than finding another location for another well?
We've explored other locations within the city. We've been working intimately with the city trying to find locations. We identified some alternate locations. The DNR ultimately came back and dissuaded us from going that direction. So we have, with the city's prodding, we've looked at going into this location. This wouldn't be our first location that we would pick to go to. There's other locations, but this one does fit the bill for a number of good reasons. And if this doesn't pan out, then we're working with the city to find a second location for a test well.
Mr. Holt?
I will make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-150, approving and accepting the bid from CTW Wells and Pumps for a water test well for a cost not to exceed $178,120.
Daniel, second.
Mr. Jopek?
So to clarify, the first option, we don't have access to our first and second option for where we would actually want to do this test.
We've been dissuaded by the DNR from going where we were originally looking at going.
So with the DNR, with wells, you have to have a setback from any potential hazmat sites. And if you go on the DNR's webpage, everything from Lindsay Cleaners to anywhere there's been dumping in the past, like the landfill, now you have a setback. So when you overlay that setback over our city, you tend to run out of real estate pretty quick. Then when you look at real estate that the city doesn't own, there's a cost to go onto someone's property to test a well where we own this. So I think that's some of the factors
That's
that
exactly
push
it.
this in.
Yep.
So the question I have would be more for Mr. Johnson than yourself. So I don't know if he could come up. So let's say hypothetically we do this test well, everything's wonderful, we decide to put a well in. Is that going to be a freestanding well, or is this going to pump right to the reserve tank, kind of like 4 and 5 does currently?
No, this one would connect right to the main.
Right to the main? So it would be kind of a separate system.
Yep. It would be like the way, 7, 8 was, but way 6 is right now. Where the chemicals injected as it pumps out to the system.
Do you foresee any pressure issues throughout our system with having additional source right there?
I don't know. I do want to say one thing that Phil didn't touch on. The one reason some of the sites that we were originally looking at didn't work out in the DNR, they're worried about the PFAS contamination coming down from Starks because the way that groundwater flows towards the river. So that's why we're moving more south.
And Kurt, I'm sorry to interrupt. We had lots of conversations with the DNR on this. MSA has, Kurt has. We all had one big meeting too where we kind of talked about this. This one proved to be the best spot, and the mayor kind of touched on it. We own the property, which makes that kind of nice. And if we need, it's nice to have 3 wells together. If we need treatment options later on down the road, we got them right there. They're all grouped together.
Yeah, that was a big thing too, city property, and if EPA lowers any of the limits, we will be treating all of our wells at some point.
Mr. Anderson?
It's going to affect the whole country, so.
Yeah, as I understand it, this motion should cover more than one test well. Is that right? I mean,
That's correct.
so it seemed to me that it should, rather than a test well, it should say test wells not to exceed, whatever.
Correct. I apologize.
So there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not seeing. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Leanne Felton,
Aye.
Carrie Mikulowski, Tom Kelly, Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
David Holt,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
passes. Thank you. Moving on to 12J, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-151, referred to our city administrator.
Thank you, Mayor Hannah. So what this is on strategic planning. So we put a request for proposals out a while ago. We ended up getting 13 proposals back. Anywhere from right around 25,000, which we had budgeted, to 184,000, which was slightly beyond our budget. We had a kind of a subcommittee here of some city staff, which included Austin Zarda, the city clerk, Rachel Pearson, the HR manager, and Lloyd Gauthier, the chief of police. We went through all of these. We found the top 3 that we liked that fit the bill for us, and we interviewed all 3 of them as a group. And the consensus, and it was a rather quick consensus, is we really like North Span. Think they're going to do a fantastic job. They're within our budget. Their time frame was great. They pretty much ticked off every box we were looking for. So that city staff, that committee here, we recommend to you adopting or approving this. Sorry.
Daniel, make a motion to approve proposed resolution 2023-151, approving the recommendation from city staff to accept the strategic planning proposal from Northspan for a cost not to exceed $24,993.90.
Barnett, second.
Any discussion? Mr. Barnett?
I read through their proposal and the history that you sent with the packet over the weekend, and I'm pretty impressed with what they're going to be offering and with what they have done for other people in the past. So just for the record, though, I just want to make it clear where the funding source is coming from.
It's coming from ARPA, ARPA funds.
I just want to make sure people know that.
Sure. And this was actually, we just had a really good interview with these folks. They were energetic. They had a plan. They had a purpose. It was really good.
Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, I don't envy you having to read through all the gobbledygook that these people write in, but
It was actually quite interesting.
If you really want a good read, I'll send you the other 9.
Some
of
okay, I'm
them
good.
were pretty interesting things. So
it certainly sounds like a good idea, and if you're happy with this group doing it, I think the only other thing is that we have to remember we're hiring them to do the facilitation, but the staff and the council are going to have to provide a lot of input too along the way.
absolutely, this is going to be a total team effort here with department heads, council members, and North Span as well. So actually looking forward to it. I've done this in every community I've been in, and it generally goes really, really well. So really brings people together.
Not seeing any other discussion, clerk, please take the roll call.
Kerry McLowski, David Holt,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
Gerald Anderson, Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
Leanne Felton, Tom Kelly.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12K, discuss and/or action proposed resolution 2023-152. Refer to our city administrator.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So whereas the ordinance allowed for changing or approved changing the zoning map, this formally accepts the certified survey map for 903 Boyce Drive.
Joe Peck, motion to approve resolution number 2023-152, approving the certified survey map as presented for 903 Boyce Drive.
Hold second.
Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Anderson?
Well, actually, this includes 903 and whatever the adjacent properties, credit union property too, as far as the way the survey is written up. I just wondered if there are any, what the standards are for this kind of thing. The survey provides a lot of nice information all packed together, but just it gets confusing when they do things like take lot 1 from one survey map, lot 1 and 2 from another survey map, and now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 renumbering the things. What was lot 1 is now lot 2 mostly. Can they just flip those around however they feel?
That I don't know. Brian, I don't know if you've, or Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I lecture surveyors. The way they set this up is you can track this, and it's trackable all the way down that's why you have formerly known as Lot 1 or partially known as Lot 1 of CSM 2425. Now it's all of Lot 1 of 2627. I mean, you can track all this through the track index, and that's why they do it that way, and that's why the data is required to be on the certified survey map, so that a surveyor that picks that up or a land information director who picks that up can automatically tell what the historical background of that document is. So yeah, those are standards that are followed all the time, General.
Okay, not seeing any other discussion. Clerk, please take the roll call.
Gerald Anderson,
Aye.
Stephen Jopek,
Aye.
Eileen Daniel,
Aye.
Kerry McLowski, Tom Kelly, Thomas Barnett,
Aye.
David Holt,
Aye.
Leanne Felton.
Motion passes. Moving on to 12L. Discuss and/or action on common council meeting scheduled for December 25th. At this point, we don't see any need to have that meeting. We're just looking to have your blessing to cancel it for this year. Mr. Barnett?
Yeah, it's nothing out of the ordinary. We've done that in the past. I say we give the A-OK to do it.
Daniel, I'll make a motion. Did you make a motion to do it?
I don't think we have to, no. Well, we
Yes,
adopt
you
the
do.
calendar by yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's,
So-
number one, it's on the calendar already, and number two, because your ordinance says you were going to meet on the 2nd, 4th.
Okay, Daniel, make a motion to cancel the common council meeting scheduled for December 25th, 2023 due to the holiday.
Barnett, second.
Any discussion on the motion? Not seeing any. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose, abstain. Motion to cancel is approved. Moving on to 13, future agenda items. Mr. Holt?
I just have a quick question here. Given that we now have snow on the ground and it's unpleasantly chilly outside, this snow removal policy review has been on here for a very long time. I'm curious if it's something that just stayed on there but didn't actually need to be discussed, or has the time come and passed for that? I just want a little clarification. Was there a problem that needed to be addressed?
I don't know the exact details of how that got under, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it was you, Mr. Barnett, requested last February, March.
Right. It could probably be taken off because we had several public meetings when Randy was here last year about how the snow plows function and all that. There was a lot of concern with the way the plowing was being done as far as throwing the snow up onto the sidewalk and everything, and looking at a better way of doing it. And after spending a lot of time with Randy and some of the street crew members about the snow plowing and how it works and why things are done the way they're done, there really is not a better way of doing it than what we're doing right now. It's just an unfortunate thing that, we get a lot of snow and we got to deal with it.
Everyone okay with us removing it? Cool. Mr. Jopek?
And I don't want to ruffle feathers, but when I first got on the council, we had removed the consent agenda. I'm not saying necessarily bring it back wholeheartedly and put everything under it, but like last week we had like 16, 17 pay requests for all of the road projects. And I don't know, do those have to be individually approved? Okay. All right. Well, all right. I'll take that back then. I mean, that's a good point. I should have known better, but it was worth a shot.
But stuff like meeting minutes could all be in a consent agenda.
Yeah, and I think what's happening is we have like a pendulum swinging where like from one to the next, it's like either we don't have one at all or everything's getting like shoehorned under it, whereas like we just, make sure meeting minutes get put under there or something. I don't know. So like, I don't want to make more policy, but just, a policy on like certain things get in there, but then the rest don't or something.
So are you asking that to be a future agenda item or no?
I mean, sure. Yeah.
Because I think everyone up front here you're our new favorite.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I mean, now that my point's kind of moot, so, it is what it is.
If I could, and I don't know if this implies that it was being done incorrectly in the past, but there have been times prior to 2022 that a list of pay requests were approved on a consent agenda. It's just that it needs to be a roll call vote if there's any dollar amounts. I know that there was discussion about that. I get ask Steve, is there some issue with that, or is it bad policy or bad practice?
No, you can, as long as you have the ability to pull off the items that you want to discuss, you can, by a roll call vote, approve the consent agenda. But I think that the real impetus is if you want to discuss something, you really should pull it off the consent agenda and discuss it separately. But if it's simply something you already know what the answer is, you already know how you're going to vote, it's like accepting the minutes from committees. That belongs on a consent agenda, unless you pull it off and you say, no, I want to know more about what happened at the plant commission or something. But as far as those pay requests, as long as you've looked at you're approving the entire month's expenditure without voting on this check, this check, this check. I mean, I've sat at town board meetings where they approve every check, and you don't want to go there. Please.
And I'm kind of speaking directly to the idea of the pay requests where it's services rendered already. Like, it's not like we're going to turn around and say no. I mean, and so I don't want to say everything on the consent agenda. I'm just saying that maybe there are times there's nuance.
You're talking like the payables, billables that Wendy does.
Yeah, and even like
that's exactly.
We had the engineering going on last week where we sat through 17 and he had to explain every single one, and none of us was ready to sit up there and be like, no, you're full of crap. Yeah. So like, again, just exercising restraint and understanding which one should be on and which one should, I don't know, just an exploration of that.
I having been on this council for a while now, I think other than Tom, I'm the senior statesman. I've seen the agenda go through all kinds of different iterations with no explanation of why. I think that it is a reasonable thing to actually discuss as a council how we want it to look, because it seems to sometimes it just randomly changes the format and such. I mean, there are very good reasons to read through change orders, for example, just for public consumption and knowledge of them. But so that might be something that we don't actually want to have on a consent agenda, but it would be good to, have a discussion as a council on what we may like or not like about the formatting of it.
Okay. Anything else for future agenda item requests? Is there anything that any of you, out of the other future agenda items, that you still or would like to remove? Or all those stay on there for now? Okay. Next regular meeting will be December 11th at 6 p.m. It is currently 6:52, meeting adjourned.